Hi everyone, Alex Rocateli here, Forage Systems Extension Specialist at Oklahoma State University. Today let's talk about selecting alfalfa varieties. The objective is just to give some tips that can lead us to select the correct alfalfa variety, the most appropriated one for a hay meadow or for a grazing pasture. So it doesn't matter at all how much effort you put on finding the perfect location, preparing the right seed bed, seeding perfectly in the right time, then keep away from weeds, do a proper fertilization if you don't select an appropriated variety for your location. Once you place the seed there, and the plant is growing, you cannot change its genetics. So it's crucial, it's very important that one of the first steps when you think about alfalfa establishment is to select an appropriated alfalfa variety. And here is exactly the topics that I believe that we need to discuss today to make sure that we are selecting an appropriated variety. So today I would like to talk about winter survival, fall dormancy, disease and insect resistant. Then we may talk about persistence, yield potential, and finally your specific needs. So let's start. First, winter survival. It's common knowledge among alfalfa producers that after the last cut of the season, we need to allow alfalfa to regrow for 2 to 3 weeks before the first beginning frost. During that regrowth time, new vegetative buds will be formed and some regrowth will happen. And that regrowth is very important because that is what's gonna make the alfalfa survive through the winter and resume production in the next spring. So the winter survival is pretty much the ability of the alfalfa plants to survive the winter without injuries that can result in major yield losses for the next season. So for this happen, what we need is exactly an alfalfa variety that can have the majority of those buds alive after the winter. And winter survival is measured in a winter hardy scale from 1 to 6, where 1 is the most hardy alfalfa varieties that we can have, and 6 are alfalfa varieties that are not winter hardy at all. What is important to us here is to stick with varieties that has winter hardiness scores of 3 and or 4. If you are more in the northern part of Oklahoma, make sure that you are choosing a score 3, winter hardy alfalfa. If you are more in the central part of Oklahoma, you can either choose 3 or 4, both will work. Now, if you are in southern Oklahoma, a number 4 will suit you perfectly. Now let's move and talk about fall dormancy. So fall dormancy is determined by how tall an alfalfa variety can grow from mid-late fall to the first hitting frost. During 30-25 days of minimal temperature, an alfalfa variety that doesn't grow much is considered a very dormant variety. Now, when we have a variety that really can catch good growth during this period, is considered a variety that is less dormant. Uh, the alfalfa variety dormancy scores goes from 1, the most dormant, to 11, the least dormant. Here for Oklahoma, we shall stick with scores from 4 to 6. If you are pretty much on the north of Oklahoma, use a score 4. Central Oklahoma, 5. Now, if you are in the south, you can use a score number 6. Winter hardness and fall dormancy are interrelated. The higher the winter hardness, the higher the fall dormancy of a variety. However, nowadays the breeders start to separate those two traits. What is a good new thing that's coming? Because right now we can start to think about on selecting a winter hard variety that will be less dormant. That will allow that variety survive through the winter, but starts to grow during the spring earlier and stop growing late fall later, which will allow a higher growing season. Now, let's move on to the next topic, that is disease and insect resistance. The best pest management strategy that you can have is to select an alfalfa variety that will be resist the most common pests on your area. That will save money and time with chemical control. So first, you need to know which are the common pests on your area. Perhaps you already know because you're farming for a long period of time where you're at. Or you just purchase land in a specific location in Oklahoma, and in this case you might not be aware which one are the most common pests. If that's your case, we recommend that you follow this link here and access the ePest alert from Oklahoma State University. At this website, you can go to the archive issues and dig it up in the last years, which are the most common pests on your area. After that you have done that, you need to select your variety based on those common pests. We recommend that you follow this link here that's going to direct you to the NAFA, National Alfalfa and Forage Alliance website, where you will find alfalfa ratings. This is a publication that they update every year and is the most comprehensive information on all available commercial alfalfa varieties to purchase and their traits, including pest resistant. So far, everything that we had discussed was to achieve persistence on an alfalfa stand. In other words, to have an alfalfa stand that's gonna have good and stable yields up to 4-5 years. When you talk about north of United States, the most common traits to achieve persistence would be winter hardness and fall dormancy. Now, when you talk about Oklahoma, that we are more located in a kind of central location in the United States, what is important to us is to stick what we discussed so far and select a pest-resistant alfalfa to the most common pests on your area. If you do that, it's guaranteed that your stand will persist for 4 to 5 years. So once your persistence is guaranteed, now makes sense we move on and talk about yield potential. Unfortunately, lots of producers think that this is the most important trait when selecting a variety. That might be mistaken, because if you select a variety that has high yield potential, however, is not resistant to a pest or cannot thrive well the winter, the chances that you're going to lose that stand in the first, second year, it's high. Although the yield potential of a variety is pretty much dictated by its genetics, keep in mind that the actual yield that you can have in your location will be dictated by your environment. How much rainfall you get during the year and the distribution of this rainfall. How is the fertility of your soil? The length of your growing season. All that will pretty much groom how much that particular variety can produce on your area. Therefore, using the information from your seed bag, the information provided by seed companies, might not be the best way to go. Seed companies test their products in the best weather, soil conditions, and management practices to show the full potential of their products. Perhaps you won't have that perfect environment, and therefore you are not going to achieve all that production. Also, be aware about word of mouth. Well, you need to be very wise on sieving the information that you get from your neighbors and anecdotes about how this or that variety is performing. Keep in mind that for more that your neighbors are pretty much in a very similar environment, weather conditions of yours. Their soils and their management perhaps is not the same as yours. Most of the time, they share their yields, but they don't share exactly how much on weed control, fertilization, and irrigation they had spent time and money. So, also, word of mouth, coffee shop talk can direct you, point it out to some varieties, but is not conclusive, those kind of information. In my opinion, the most impartial source that you can have to select yield potential is look at university public variety trials close to your location. For instance, the OSU Alfalfa variety trials use proper scientific methodology and disclose all pasture management, allowing the most objective and accurate evaluation. You can find reports by following the link here that you have on the screen. Also, if you have any difficulties on understanding the results, you can always contact your local county extension educator. He is a person that really can help you understanding the results of those trials. Finally, let's move to the last topic, your specific needs. This is the most broad topic that we have. We can spend lots of time here giving examples and the most customizable one. For instance, let's say that we have a producer that wants to graze alfalfa. In this case, a grazing type alfalfa might suit his enterprise better than the others. Let's say that other producer is having a hard time controlling weeds in his farm. In this case, opting for a Roundup Ready alfalfa may simplify and save money when controlling weeds. Also, keep in mind that today we have reduced lignin alfalfa varieties that can unlock different ways that you can manage your alfalfa fields. We discuss how take advantage of reduced lignin alfalfas in other presentation. So now let's move to our final considerations. Pretty much what I would like to say is follow the sequence. Make sure that you're having an alfalfa that has a winter survival with a winter hardness rating of 3 and or 4, fall dormancy 4, 5, or 6, and that your alfalfa is pest resistant to the most common pests on your area. After that, you sieve the varieties through those 3 sieves, and you find the varieties that can be persistent on your area. You can think about your yield potential. In this case, the most reliable information is from public alfalfa variety trials that is offered by universities close to your location. And finally, look at your specific needs and what different varieties can offer to you. So that's pretty much what I would like to discuss today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us.